Ay, ay, ay. In this video, I will explain how things just became insanely worse for Canelo versus Bivol fight. Instagram has now made a decision. Without further ado, roll the clip.
The Russian government has decided to block Instagram in Russia, cutting off millions of people from...
What? This is one of the heads of Instagram. He says Instagram has decided to block Russia. This is not a drill. This is not a test. The Instagram platform owned by Facebook has decided to block a whole region.
The Russian government has decided to block Instagram in Russia, cutting off millions of people from loved ones and friends around the world. We know that over 80% of people in Russia on Instagram follow an account from outside of Russia. The situation is terrifying, and we're trying to do all that we can to help keep people safe. We've made encrypted chats available to everyone in Ukraine and Russia. And we've encouraged everyone in the region to make their accounts private, and we've made it so that you cannot see who another account follows for safety reasons. We've also pledged $15 million to humanitarian efforts, and we've seen 750,000 people on the platform raise over $30 million for similar efforts. We've also created an information hub for people in the region, even if they move from country to country, to make sure they have access to good information and context.
So these are the things that Instagram is doing to help people during this chaotic time.
There's more information available in my link in bio. And if you're interested in donating, I encourage you to donate to Save the Children, International Rescue Committee, or CARE. All amazing organizations doing important things right now. With that, I'll sign off.
Wow. This just got a lot more serious than you think. Canelo sitting up here talking about payday and trying to fight a Russian fighter. So this is Adam Mosseri, who is the head of Instagram. You guys see this, right? Father, 3 boys, etc. So he's a VP, a man in charge. This is what he decided to post. On Monday, Instagram will be blocked in Russia. This decision cuts off $80 million or 80 million people in Russia from the rest of the world. So basically, Russia has decided to, because there were certain features and things that Instagram did. So it's basically a retaliatory thing, right? So they're basically retaliating because of Instagram. So look, Russia says it will block Instagram. Instagram is banned in Russia. Russia will ban Instagram March 14th. So if you live there, you won't be able to access Instagram, right? First it was Facebook, and now it's Instagram. Now, the thing I preach on my channel and try to get you guys to understand, like, people think I just talk and I'm saying these things for my health, apparently. But I know some people are still thinking, like, how does this affect Canelo's fight? Are you kidding me? Are you crazy? We have Canelo Alvarez, who's about to fight a Russian fighter, Starbucks, Visa, MasterCard, Shell, right? All of these big companies are pulling out of all business dealings with Russia, right? Russia is deciding to ban Instagram, right? Says 1 week after placing a ban on Facebook in the country's communications agent announced they will now ban IG too. While the Facebook ban cited, this is I'm not gonna read all this because I don't want all these tag words in my video, but it says this time the government claims it's happening because of a decision by parent company Meta, which is Facebook, directing moderators to allow posts calling for this and this against Russian soldiers, right? The head of Instagram, which I just played you, Adam Mosseri, said in a tweet the decision cuts off 80 million in Russia from one another and from the rest of the world. 80% of the people, right? These are like alarming times, and what's going on right now is unprecedented in modern history. Like, we haven't had, it's unprecedented, especially since the mere fact that we've never been in a social media age like we are right now. We've never seen this happen, but we've never had so much technology at our fingertips and a decision like this come where people are blocked from social media. You know, there were talks for TikTok. They said it was owned by China, so there were talks that TikTok was going to get banned, but then they end up getting sold or whatever, and people get to continue using TikTok. So you got pioneers like the Klitschko brothers, and this is what they're saying. We'll show Russia that this is senseless, right? And they're calling for sanctions, right? Sanctions. It says, we'll show Russia, the world, that this is senseless. Klitschko brothers want Dmitry Bivol banned from facing Canelo while Putin has troops in Ukraine. This, I mean, is continuing to boil over. That's the whole purpose of this video. And ironically enough, Ego Stradamus strikes again. I called it day one when this fight was announced because you can look at the situation and this was all going on. Obviously, it hadn't reached a fever pitch like it is right now, but this stuff was all going on in the background, and it was in this infancy of the invasion. But as time goes on, you're seeing it's getting worse and worse and worse, now to the point where you have Instagram, who they made a decision to cut off the supply chain to Instagram, and they're blaming Instagram. So they basically don't want people to be able to communicate with the outside world, you know? I don't know. This is, I mean, and then on top of that, you have the head of DAZN, who is Russian, and you're seeing articles pop up like this. DAZN boss with Russian ties faces backlash, Canelo Bivol cancel calls. I try to warn y'all. I told you from day one, Canelo's also fighting a Russian fighter in the middle of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So I'm pretty sure boxing is not the first thing on everybody's mind. In those areas, the chaos and turmoil in that region far outweighs a mere boxing fight because people are fighting for their lives. And you know, this is shocking stuff if you actually pay attention to the news and you know what's going on. Like, TikTok's great, and Instagram and things like YouTube. Of course, I'm on YouTube right now, but you have to pay attention to what's going on in the world. And this is some serious business. Instagram's doing a video saying, hey, they're trying to send encrypted messages to people over there, and DAZN and Canelo is actually fighting a Russian fighter right now. And then the sanctioning bodies, they're saying they're not going to sanction any other Russian fight. They're not going to allow the anthem in the ring walk or the flag, but because Canelo is supposed to be the quote unquote face of boxing, we'll see how long the sanctioning bodies decide to hold out trying to protect a Canelo fight or keep it going, you know, with the belt. And then listen, I'm here to give you guys the real deal, Holyfield. Vladimir Klitschko believes Canelo Alvarez Bivol should be canceled, right? He argues that every Russian representative should be sanctioned. So he's going hard. It's also just in boxing. I know this is way bigger than boxing, but outside of that, it's affected some of our Ukrainian boxers like the Klitschkos, but even active fighters like Lomachenko. They were saying he might get the Kambosos fight, but now that looks like it's going to fall by the wayside while this is going on because he's trying to defend his country. Same thing with Usyk, who's friends with Lomachenko, right? So I don't know. It looks like the Canelo fight is certainly in jeopardy. And my thing is this. First of all, this is the whole reason Canelo is supposed to be moving up is because this guy has one belt, Dmitry Bivol, which you see in this picture, right? He has one belt. So Canelo had all these belts in another division where Dmitry Bivol doesn't fight at, right? And he said, hey, I'm moving up because I want your one belt. This is Mr. Alvarez. This is what he decided to do, right? So he wants this guy's one belt in a division he's only fought at one other time against a washed Kovalev, and it just happens to be the worst possible timing. None of this would happen or have happened if he took the PBC deal. That is a fact. Demetrius Andrade, he could have even fought him if he wanted to stay on DAZN, right? It wouldn't have happened there either. But if he would have took the PBC for certain, that package deal, and they're about to see, and I think the reason, and see, the other thing that this is why Canelo, he doesn't benefit the sport when he's moving like this, because Canelo's supposed to be the face, and Showtime Boxing just announced, I got an email that they're going to do their announcement next week. In my opinion, this announcement was held up. They probably could have announced sooner, at least a couple weeks sooner, if they weren't waiting around for Canelo Alvarez to golf and make up his mind and decide if he was going with them or not, because Canelo would then hold up a lot of the budget for Showtime, presumably if he took the Charlo Benavidez fight deal, which we know he didn't. So this thing is a mess, man. It's getting worse and worse by the day. You have public companies, I'm talking about Fortune 500 companies, who are pulling out. Like, just, that's all you have to do is type it. Russia pull out US companies, maybe something like that, right? And we'll see what pops up. Which companies have pulled out? Russia plans to seize assets of Western companies that pull out. I mean, this just, if you know anything about the news, you know this is headed nowhere fast, right? It's not looking like something that will easily be resolved. And DAZN is trying to sell a pay-per-view with a Russian star. I mean, I guess if you want to call him a star, but in Dmitry Bivol. And they're trying to say, hey, it's a pay-per-view friendly and worthy in America. And every other company is doing the opposite. Right? Look. And when it pre-populates like that, it means people are searching for that. Here are companies 17 hours ago. Here are companies pulling back out from Russia. And Ford, General Motors, GM, Toyota, Volkswagen, Nissan, Boeing, Airbus, Airbnb, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Meta. Look, Facebook and Meta would block access to Russian outlets and Russian-backed television stations. And then now, in retaliation, Russia, I guess, has decided to ban the usage of Instagram, which is owned by Facebook and Meta, the parent company, Hitachi, IBM. So while everybody is like not touching it with the 10-foot pole, DAZN is trying to sell a product for $80, Canelo and Bivol. Good luck with that. Intel, Microsoft, Netflix, these are all companies. Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Japanese company. And they not wanting Roku, right? Sony, Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, owned by Google. So YouTube and Google. So everybody else is doing the other way. And BP, Equinor, Rio Tinto, Shell, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Moody's, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Western Union, Citibank, PayPal, man, Burger King, Coca-Cola, Heineken, McDonald's, Nestle, Pepsi Cola, Starbucks, Yum Brands, Hyatt, Hilton Hotels, the Marriott. I mean, the list is just growing crazy. John Deere, you guys want a lawnmower. Caterpillar, DirecTV, Disney, and Disney owns ESPN, so what does that mean? Okay. Warner Media, Crocs, Estee Lauder, H&M, IKEA, Mothercare, and so on. UPS, FedEx, DHL. What we doing? I'm running. You ain't even trying to compare body counts. I'm running out of fingers. So this looks horrible. And the one company that's not on the list is a British-owned company, DAZN, that Canelo chose to fight on the app and fight again. Like, out of all the people and all the deals he could have fought against a Russian fighter during this time. And I know some people are like, oh, hey, it's not Bivol's fault. He didn't do it. Bro, nobody's going to look at it like that, unfortunately. That's just the reality of it. I don't care about nothing. I'm here to tell you guys the reality. I don't live in a sugar-coated cookie cutter world that y'all live in. I come from the mud. I came from the gutter and I'm still here. Bro, you are selling the man's name is Bivol. He is Russian. And some people, I seen people, they was reaching, they were like, no, Ego, he was born in Sacramento, or bro, I don't care what none of y'all talk about. The reality is he claims Russia. He has a Russian flag right there. He got the Russian flag right there. Bro, what are we talking about? He got the Russian flag right there, and y'all trying to switch it up because the spot is hot. Man, stop playing with me, bro. I'm the best in boxing history. I told y'all better stop playing with me. This was getting serious. Y'all didn't want to listen to me, but y'all see the implications. Y'all thought I was just saying this to jibber jabber. This is absolutely real because we're dealing with people's lives. We're dealing with people's livelihoods, you know? And now with this whole Instagram ban, like, how can DAZN as a company say they even care if people in the Ukraine, like that? I don't think they even checking for no boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? And then, okay, so if Instagram, see, this is what I'm saying. Some people are like, oh, how are you connecting this? It all is all applicable. If Instagram is owned by Facebook and they're not messing with Russia during this time, right? During this invasion, right? How are you going to promote the fight? Russia is cutting off the oxygen supply to these said platforms. So how are you going to promote? Who's going to watch like the weigh-in and stuff? I just showed you the list. I showed you fell for the mousetrap. YouTube and Google, Facebook, all these big companies. So let's say you live in Russia right now and you want to watch Canelo and Bivol, right? You want to watch the weigh-in or the press conference. How you going to watch it if they just had Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Google, and they're starting to block these things? Look, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, they're blocking it. So Netflix, everybody's blocking. Man, what are we talking about, bro? So that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, I don't know. DAZN, they like to lose money anyway, so I don't know what they're gonna do. But this look crazy. You know, I mean, they could keep it up, but you see it in the back, it says DAZN pay-per-view. Good job. Good luck. You know, good luck selling your pay-per-view. Even like, first of all, I could do this for all day. I could go on all day. For starters, the whole reason that he allegedly took Bivol is because he wanted to fight him for a title. So if it gets so serious that the pressure amounts like it looks like it's doing, that the sanctioning bodies in boxing decide not to, like, hey, we can't authorize this fight. You can't be up, his belt can't be up for grabs. We can't recognize him as a champion, which it looks like it's getting there, right? So if he fights Bivol for no belt, then what's the point of the actual fight? Why are they fighting if he's not even fighting for a title? That's one question your boy Ego has. The whole purpose was to fight him because he's a champion and he has one belt. Because he didn't look good in some of his recent fights, just being honest, right? So if it gets to a point where he doesn't get sanctioned, then that's going to be an L. Because you're going to still have the same product minus a belt and charge $80. Or actually not have the same product. That's what I meant to say. So you're gonna champion Bivol if it gets to a point where they don't recognize him as a champion and they say, hey, to hell with y'all, we're still putting this fight on. So you're gonna charge $80 for a championship fight. If it becomes a fight that can't get sanctioned in the world boxing, then you're still gonna charge $80. You know, that doesn't really make sense to me. And even if he keeps his belt, if he doesn't keep his belt and you allow the fight to keep going, guess what? What type of pay-per-view buys are you really expecting when the whole rest of the world and other big companies, you think a lot of these companies, like, they're on this list for fun? Like, a lot of these companies, they're going to lose money. They wouldn't have established ties with Russia if it wasn't profitable. So they're losing profits, but from their company's perspective, it's worth it to not support what's happening right now. Does that make sense? So that's the reality of it. So it lends credence and it makes you wonder, what is DAZN's real like ethics? What is their real standpoint as a company? What do they stand for? What are they about? They acting like you can't sweep what's happening in the world. You can't sweep this under the rug like we don't see it. So to me, it looks lousy that DAZN as a platform, they're not even addressing. They got like 14 different shows and 40 commentators, but I haven't seen the show addressing real life scenarios such as, hey, Canelo's fighting a Russian fighter in the middle of a Russian invasion where people are losing their lives. So what does that state about the company and their transparency? Doesn't look good to me. You guys can say whatever you want, but I told you this was gonna cause concern. And then you have celebrity boxers, legends like Klitschko, they saying, nah, we gotta send a message. All these companies are losing money trying to send a message. But Canelo, he wants to pick who he wants to pick. And DAZN, they're like, okay, we're going with it. Canelo's the face of boxing. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Breaking news, Instagram now blocked in Russia. So, you know, how are people in Russia even going to support Dmitry Bivol if their supply line to like the biggest platforms is cut off because there's this back and forth rivalry, you know, and pettiness going on about, hey, you did this, so we're going to do this. You blocked our news station, so we're blocking your whole platform. And as long as that exists and this invasion exists, this fight is going to be under fire. Mark my words. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.